Hi everyone, in these notes we are going to be distributing and simplifying algebraic expressions. The essential question for today is how do I distribute and simplify algebraic expressions? First we need to go over some key vocabulary words that you need to know. So the first one is coefficient, which is the number in front of the variable. We have three examples here. And so for negative 6x, the negative 6 is going to be your coefficient. So we're going to write that right here. For b, this is x over 4. And so in this case, x is being divided by 4 or multiplied by 1/4. So 1/4 is our coefficient. And then for c, we have negative x, and even though there isn't a 1 there, there is a negative there, and so that negative is acting like -1, and so our coefficient is -1. You also need to know the term variable, which is a symbol used to represent a number. A constant in an algebraic expression is an integer that has no variable. Terms are the parts of an algebraic expression that are usually separated by an addition or subtraction symbol. Like terms can be combined because they contain the same variable or exponent. It's like they have the same last name. So for example, 7x squared, negative 5x squared, and 0 and 7/10 x squared. Those would be like terms, and we could combine them because they have the same variable or exponent. And then when simplifying, that's when we combine all like terms and get rid of our parentheses. All right, so now since we know those terms, we're going to put them to use by looking at an expression and identifying those terms that we used in the first section with this expression. So the terms within this expression, I'm going to separate them by using commas. So we have a -6, comma, we have a -3x. We have a +3y. I don't need to write the addition symbol. We have +7, we have -4y, and we have, sorry about that, we have +9, okay? And then as far as like terms, these are the terms that, again, either have the same variable or exponent. So we have two groups of these in this expression. We have our y's, so 3y, and we also have -4y. And then I want you to write the word and, because we have a different group of like terms. We have our constants. These are integers. So we have -6, we have +7, and we have +9. Our coefficients are those numbers that are in front of variables. So we have -3, it's in front of the y. We have +3, it's in front of a y, and we have -4, that's also in front of a y. And then lastly, we have our constants. So these are our integers without a variable, and here we have -6, +7, and +9. How do I simplify? By combining like terms. You're going to add or subtract the coefficients, and the variables will stay the same. So let's look at this first example. So real quick, I'm going to give you a visual representation of the terms that are like. So I'm going to put blue boxes around ones that are part of, have x as a variable, and then I'm going to put a red circle around this constant. Okay, so I'm going to combine what is in blue, and we have a -5x and a +3x, so that's going to give us -2x, and then I don't have another constant that I can combine, so I'm just going to keep the 10x, and this is how I simplified that expression. Okay, so I'm going to visually represent this again with the second one, and then we should be able to move on from that. So the like terms with k, I'm going to put blue boxes around them. Okay, and then I'm going to put a yellow circle around j's, and then let's put a green triangle around the constants. Okay, so first let's look at our k's. And if we have negative 6k plus positive 6k, we're not going to have any k. So let's move on to the j. We don't have another j, so in that case we're just going to write negative 4j. And then we have negative 8 and positive 8, and that gives us 0, so we have nothing else to write for that. That is the simplest version of that expression. All right, so looking at number 3, we have 3p and negative 4p, so that's going to give us negative 1p. We don't need to write the 1, so I'm just going to write negative p. And then we have positive 4x. We don't have another x, so I can just go ahead and write the positive 4x. And then it looks like we only have one constant, so then I'm just going to write plus 8. Okay, one quick thing to note is what is mentioned over here to the left side, and that's all answers must be in proper order. So the variables, they need to be written alphabetically. So for example, since p comes before x in the alphabet, that's why we're going to write that term first, and then the constants are always in the back of the simplified expression. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at number 4, and with number 4 we've got a few w's. So we have 6w plus 3w, and that gives me 9w minus 9w, so now I don't have any w's. And then we have a negative 12, so negative 12 is going to be my simplified version. How do I simplify using the distributive property? What you're going to do is you're going to multiply the element outside of the parentheses with all elements inside of those parentheses. So you're going to give, for the first example, you're going to give 5 to the w and 5 to the negative 8. So 5 times w gives me 5w, and 5 times negative 8 gives me negative 40. So my expression is simplified to 5w minus 40. Okay. The second one looks a little funny. Don't treat it any differently. It's just because the x is on the right side, but you're still going to do the same thing. So you're going to give the x to the 19 and then the x to the y. And so when you distribute, you get xy because they're multiplied together plus 19x. All right, this next one has a negative outside of it. If it helps your brain a little bit better, you can put a 1 behind that negative sign. So we're going to be distributing negative 1 to each of these. So negative 1 times negative 3, a negative times a negative gives you a positive. So this is a positive 3, and then a negative 1 times positive y is going to give us a negative y. With this next one, it looks a little bit more difficult because the number outside of the parentheses is a fraction. However, we're still treating it the same. So we're going to give that negative 2/3 to the x and the negative 2/3 to the negative 24. So our first term when we distribute is going to be negative 2/3 x. And then you're going to have access to your calculator, but I always encourage you to try to do mental math. It's just going to make your brain even stronger. So when multiplying fractions, you would put a 1 underneath that 24 in order to turn it into a fraction, and then multiplying it by negative 2/3. When you do that, Negative 24 times negative 2 is going to give you positive 48, and you have a 3 in your denominator, and then when you simplify that, you're going to get 16, and so then that's a positive 16, so our term would be plus 16. There's going to be cases in which you have both distributing and combining like terms. So in this next part, I'm going to tell you what to do first. First, you're going to distribute to make the parentheses go away, and then you're going to combine like terms, and then lastly, you're going to make sure that your final answer is written in proper algebraic form. That's what we circled earlier, saying that the variables are in alphabetical order and that the constants are in the back. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we are going to go ahead and distribute, and we're going to do that by giving the 6 away to the two terms and the parentheses. And then once we do that, we have what is written below for us, okay? And then as you can see in that teal color, we have our like terms, and then we have in yellow the term with the K highlighted, and then our constant highlighted in pink. And since there are only one set of like terms, we're just going to be working with what is in teal. So 24m minus 16m is going to give me 8m. However, K is before M in the alphabet, so I need to make sure that I write my 42K first, and then lastly, I'm going to write my constant. All right, so with this next one, I'm going to go ahead and distribute first, and when I do that, I get, whoops, let me go ahead and erase this real quick. My pen is just so sensitive. 6y plus 48 minus 5y. Okay, so my like terms, I'm going to circle them with yellow, so 6y and negative 5y. When I combine those like terms, I get 1y. I don't need to write the 1, so I'm just going to write y, and then I am going to write my plus 48. Right here we have a little bit of a geometry connection, so we're going to see how simplifying algebraic expressions can help you with geometry. Okay, so we're going to find the perimeter of this triangle. We're not going to be able to find the exact perimeter, but instead we're going to be simplifying the terms that we have. So we know that the perimeter is the sum of all sides, so all of the sides added together. And so what we have here for the three sides of this triangle is we have, I'm going to start off with this left side, so we have 3x plus 1. Then on this right side we have, and that's a positive 2, so I'm going to write plus 2x minus 5, and then for the base, so the bottom, we have 6x, and that's positive, so I'm going to write plus 6x. Okay, I can simplify that, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine like terms. So I'm going to circle the x's with yellow, so 3x, positive 2x, positive 6x, and then I'm going to circle the constant with black, so positive 1 and negative 5. Okay, first let's combine the x's. So when we do that, we have 3x plus 2x, that gives me 5x, plus 6x, that gives me 11x. And then now let's do the constants. So we have positive 1 and negative 5. When I combine those like terms, I get negative 4. So my simplified version of the perimeter is 11x minus 4. All right, and so we have one more geometry connection dealing with perimeter. This is a different figure. This figure has a total of 6 sides. Okay, so I'm going to start at the top and then work my way around clockwise. Okay, so I'm just going to write all of the terms that we have. So 2x plus 3x plus 2 plus 4x plus x plus 2, and then we have parentheses, so 2 parentheses 5 minus 2x, and I know I'm running out of room, but I'm going to keep writing just below. Okay, and then plus 7 parentheses x minus 1. Okay, so now what I need to do is I first need to distribute before I can combine like terms, and when I distribute, I give my 2 to the 5 and my 2 to the negative 2x, and I give my 7 to the x and my 7 to the negative 1. Alright, and so once I distribute, this is what you should currently have. And now I'm going to combine my like terms, so I'm going to circle everything that has an x in yellow. Okay, and then I'm going to circle the constants in green. And I want you to go ahead and try this on your own. And when you combine like terms, you should get, for your perimeter, 13x plus 5. Alright, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Have a great day.